Friedrich Nietzsche, the brilliant German philosopher of the 19th century, captivates minds with his profound ideas and unconventional perspective on life. A fearless thinker and cultural critic, Nietzsche challenges conventional wisdom, urging individuals to embrace their true potential and question societal norms. His influential works, including Thus Spoke Zarathustra and Beyond Good and Evil, delve into the complexities of human existence, morality, and the pursuit of individual greatness. Nietzsche's intellectual prowess, poetic style, and relentless pursuit of truth make him an enduring icon of philosophical thought. With his audacious philosophy, Nietzsche ignites a flame within souls, inspiring them to live passionately and authentically. To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. We should consider every day lost on which we have not danced at least once. And we should call every truth false which was not accompanied by at least one laugh. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. There is always some madness in love. But there is also always some reason in madness. There are no facts, only interpretations. It is impossible to suffer without making someone pay for it. Every complaint already contains revenge. On the mountains of truth you can never climb in vain. Either you will reach a point higher up today, or you will be training your powers so that you will be able to climb higher tomorrow. When one has not had a good father, one must create one. Many are stubborn in pursuit of the path they have chosen, few in pursuit of the goal. In individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. Whatever is done for love always occurs beyond good and evil. Love is blind, friendship closes its eyes. Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. Without music, life would be a mistake. The essence of all beautiful art, all great art, is gratitude. Ah, women. They make the highs higher and the lows more frequent. The future influences the present just as much as the past. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies, but also to hate his friends. The true man wants two things, danger and play. For that reason he wants woman as the most dangerous plaything. The doer alone learneth. Women are considered deep. Why? Because one can never discover any bottom to them. Women are not even shallow. One should die proudly when it is no longer possible to live proudly. When you look into an abyss, the abyss also looks into you. Fear is the mother of morality. When marrying, ask yourself this question. Do you believe that you will be able to converse well with this person into your old age? Everything else in marriage is transitory. Convictions are more dangerous foes of truth than lies. Stupid as a man, say the women. Cowardly as a woman, say the men. Stupidity in a woman is unwomanly. Perhaps I know best why it is man alone who laughs. He alone suffers so deeply that he had to invent laughter. The irrationality of a thing is no argument against its existence, rather a condition of it. Madness is rare in individuals, but in groups, parties, nations, and ages it is the rule. Evil men have no songs. How is it that the Russians have songs? There is more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. One has to pay dearly for immortality. One has to die several times while one is still alive. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Hope in reality is the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. Yet his shadow still looms. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderers of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? We love life, not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. In every real man a child is hidden that wants to play. A pair of powerful spectacles has sometimes sufficed to cure a person in love. Thoughts are the shadows of our feelings, always darker, emptier, and simpler. There are horrible people who, instead of solving a problem, tangle it up and make it harder to solve for anyone who wants to deal with it. Whoever does not know how to hit the nail on the head should be asked not to hit it at all. The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. Insanity in individuals is something rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. The best weapon against an enemy is another enemy. The most common lie is that which one lies to himself. Lying to others is relatively an exception, not necessity, not desire. No, the love of power is the demon of men. Let them have everything: health, food, a place to live, entertainment. They are and remain unhappy and low-spirited, for the demon waits and will be satisfied. Nothing is beautiful, only man. On this piece of naivete rests all aesthetics. It is the first truth of aesthetics. Let us immediately add its second. Nothing is ugly but degenerate man. The domain of aesthetic judgment is therewith defined. Those who cannot understand how to put their thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of debate. War has always been the grand sagacity of every spirit which has grown too inward and too profound. Its curative power lies even in the wounds one receives. Whenever I climb, I am followed by a dog called Ego. In heaven, all the interesting people are missing. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths. To forget one's purpose is the commonest form of stupidity. Behind all their personal vanity, women themselves always have an impersonal contempt for woman. Behind all their personal vanity, Women themselves always have an impersonal contempt for woman. The great epochs of our life are the occasions when we gain the courage to rebaptize our evil qualities as our best qualities. All truly great thoughts are conceived by walking. He who cannot give anything away cannot feel anything either. Love is not consolation. It is light. It is my ambition to say in 10 sentences what others say in a whole book. In large states, public education will always be mediocre, for the same reason that in large kitchens the cooking is usually bad. No one lies so boldly as the man who is indignant. Is Wagner a human being at all? Is he not rather a disease? He contaminates everything he touches. He has made music sick. Sleeping is no mean art. For its sake one must stay awake all day. After coming into contact with a religious man, I always feel I must wash my hands. When one has finished building one's house, one suddenly realizes that in the process one has learned something that one really needed to know in the worst way before one began. For art to exist, for any sort of aesthetic activity to exist, a certain physiological precondition is indispensable: intoxication. There is an innocence in admiration. It is found in those to whom it has never yet occurred that they, too, might be admired someday. Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. Faith, not wanting to know what is true. The world itself is the will to power, and nothing else. And you yourself are the will to power, and nothing else. There are various eyes. Even the Sphinx has eyes, and as a result there are various truths, and as a result there is no truth. Idleness is the parent of psychology. We often refuse to accept an idea merely because the tone of voice in which it has been expressed is unsympathetic to us. Glance into the world just as though time were gone, and everything crooked will become straight to you. Wit is the epitaph of an emotion. We have art in order not to die of the truth. One ought to hold on to one's heart, for if one lets it go, one soon loses control of the head too. The kingdom of heaven is a condition of the heart, not something that comes upon the earth or after death. Undeserved praise causes more pangs of conscience later than undeserved blame, but probably only for this reason, that our power of judgment are more completely exposed by being overpraised than by being unjustly underestimated. All credibility, all good conscience, all evidence of truth come only from the senses. Germany is a great nation only because its people have so much Polish blood in their veins. Character is determined more by the lack of certain experiences than by those one has had. Many a man fails as an original thinker simply because his memory is too good. Mystical explanations are thought to be deep. The truth is that they are not even shallow. In music the passions enjoy themselves. To be ashamed of one's immorality, that is a step on the staircase at whose end one is also ashamed of one's morality. I assess the power of a will by how much resistance, pain, torture it endures and knows how to turn to its advantage. There are no moral phenomena at all, but only a moral interpretation of phenomena. Every church is a stone on the grave of a God-man. It does not want him to rise up again under any circumstances. Words are but symbols for the relations of things to one another and to us. Nowhere do they touch upon absolute truth. Go up close to your friend, but do not go over to him. We should also respect the enemy in our friend. Our treasure lies in the beehive of our knowledge. We are perpetually on the way thither, being by nature winged insects and honey-gatherers of the mind. He that humbleth himself wishes to be exalted. a woman may very well form a friendship with a man, but for this to endure, it must be assisted by a little physical antipathy. It is not when truth is dirty, but when it is shallow, that the lover of knowledge is reluctant to step into its waters. Arrogance on the part of the meritorious is even more offensive to us than the arrogance of those without merit, for merit itself is offensive. Art is the proper task of life. For the woman, the man is a means. The end is always the child. Although the most acute judges of the witches and even the witches themselves were convinced of the guilt of witchery, the guilt nevertheless was non-existent. It is thus with all guilt. Whoever despises himself nonetheless respects himself as one who despises. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. He who laughs best today will also laughs last. If there is something to pardon in everything, there is also something to condemn. It is always consoling to think of suicide. In that way one gets through many a bad night. An artist has no home in Europe except in Paris. I am a pure-blooded Polish nobleman without a single drop of bad blood, certainly not German blood. Morality is the herd instinct in the individual. Success has always been a great liar. In the consciousness of the truth he has perceived, man now sees everywhere only the awfulness or the absurdity of existence, and loathing seizes him. The Christian resolution to find the world ugly and bad has made the world ugly and bad. Let us beware of saying that death is the opposite of life. The living being is only a species of the dead, and a very rare species. In praise there is more obtrusiveness than in blame. There are slavish souls who carry their appreciation for favors done them so far that they strangle themselves with the rope of gratitude. What do I care about the purring of one who cannot love? Like the cat, some are made modest by great praise, others insolent. Does wisdom perhaps appear on the earth as a raven which is inspired by the smell of carrion? God is a thought who makes crooked all that is straight. There is not enough religion in the world even to destroy religion. I love those who do not know how to live for today. Existence really is an imperfect tense that never becomes a present.